Okay, guys, next math lesson, still a review for my class, but other people might not have learned it yet. And this is traditional multiplication. So what we're going to start out with is two-digit number by another two-digit number. So this is the strategy that your parents and Mademoiselle Lafrance would have learned in school. So some people might find it kind of tricky when they start out, but there are a lot of different strategies that we've learned in math. Some of them only work for certain questions. So you kind of have to be like, what strategy will work for this question? Or you can use this strategy which works for every single question ever that you could possibly encounter in your life. All right, so really what we need to think before we start, we might want to do an estimate. I'm not going to today. You could. But this time I'm just going to show my multiplication strategy. So what I'm really going to be doing here is timesing 18 times 5. So I'm going to end up with one answer. And then I'm going to times 18 times 30, which is what this 3 means. So I'm going to have two different answers here. I'm going to add them together, and that's going to be my final answer. So I like to draw a bunch of lines and cross out things so that I know what I've already done and I don't get confused or miss things. So right now I'm going to start out with my 5. I need to times that 5 by everything above. So 5 times 8 is 40. Put my 0 and carry the 4 to the next column. Okay, now I'm going to do 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus the 4 that I carried. 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay, so now I have finished with that 4. I've already added it on. It is done. And I have already used this 5. I've already times it by everything up above. So I'm going to put a little line through it. And I'm going to put a 0 down here to keep its place. Why am I putting a 0? Because I've already used the 5. I don't need to times by it anymore. And now I'm going to be timesing by this 3. But it's not really a 3. It's really 30 because it's a 3 in the tens place. So remember that strategy that we learned about tacking on the zeros. If you time something by 30, really you're timesing it by 3 and tacking on a 0 at the end. So that's why we're putting that 0 here, to keep the place of the 5 that we've already used, and also to remember that when we times things by 30, we're really timesing by 3 and tacking on a 0. So that's why that 0 is there. Don't forget it or your entire answer will be wrong. All right, so 3 times 8 is 24. Carry the 2 up here. Oh, getting a little crowded. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, I lined up my digits. So this first answer is 18 times 5. And the second answer is 18 times 30. Okay, that makes sense. 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 4 is 13. Carry my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. So my final answer of 18 times 35 is 630. I'm going to circle my answer so that everybody can see that that's my final answer. Okay, that's traditional multiplication.